Let's act as if human flourishing is the goal. Let's build societies that are beneficial for our children. Is a utopian lifestyle possible? It always seems like sci-fi movies say no. What do you say? Good morning. Good morning. We are back. I think we are finally on episode 5 on Attack of Titan. For you anime lovers, I know you guys are eating this up. This has probably been totally fun for you. Unfortunately, this isn't something that I'm going to do all the time, because the point of this isn't love for anime, though anime is great. But we're also going to do this for other movies. And one of the movies that we're going to do this for is like Sex Life. I don't know, some other fun movies, but we use movies because they're great illustrations, and typically they're made by Hollywood, and Hollywood's goals typically, in my opinion, are to indoctrinate us and tell us what kind of values, what kind of morals that we should have, and their goals typically are to normalize certain behaviors in society. There are some movies, for sure, there's still some movies out there that their intentions are for us just to gain some kind of self awareness, maybe, or be conscious of the way we live, or maybe it's to teach us, differing morals and values than Hollywood. But typically, on the majority basis, Hollywood's goals is to make you conform. I think that's just a pretty self explanatory, pretty self evident fact that that is their goal. That's what they do with their movies. I don't know how you could avoid that. To continue. All right, on AOT, we finally left Paradia. We started talking about Marley, and we are going to be introducing some new characters that you're going to see in the new seasons. And these new characters are going to be Marleyans. So, in these last 2 seasons, I think it is, or 3, you haven't really gotten to see the Jaws Titan. So in Marley now, this is when you get to see the Jaws Titan, and you get to see what the Jaws Titan can do. I told you earlier, the specialty and really what the Jaws Titan special power is being able to break through that crystal that you see in the Founders area, and being able to break through that crystal that, what's her name, Annie, the female Titan, puts herself in to protect herself. Well, it turns out that the Warhammer Titan, which Eren fights because Eren has infiltrated Marley with a group of his comrades, she is also encased in this kind of crystal, and Eren finds out the true power of the Jaws Titan by practically beating the shit out of the Titan, grabbing the Titan, and then he grabs the Titan's jaws, and then he puts it over the crystal. And that's how he finally breaks the crystal and realizes the true power of the Jaws Titan. So that's how that one went. Now in Marley, Eren is doing some sus ass stuff, man. This guy has cut off his leg practically, and somehow he stopped it from healing or from steaming. You'll have to watch it to catch how he did that, because like I said, whenever one of the 9 in their human forms gets injured, steam immediately comes out, just as in the same case when they're 20-foot titans and they lose a finger or a hand, steam immediately comes out. So I'm not quite sure how Eren was able to hide or stop the steam from coming off of the leg, that he literally cut off his own leg below the knee, I think. How he was able to stop the steam, man, I don't really know. But anyhow, he had infiltrated Marley. He had been living there as a spy. He's been gathering information, and this guy's just farming aura at this point. He, no one knows who he is. He's just enjoying himself right now. He's just having the time of his life, talking it up, having stories, even playing with his little Marleyan kid as he contemplates what he's about to do. Because what we're gonna find out is Eren always knew what he was about to do, since he touched royalty, that is. Before he touched royalty, maybe not. But after he touched royalty, he was aware of the end. That's something to keep in mind. Now, I told you a little bit about Marley. They have a very strict regimental training program, especially for children Eldians, but Marleyans perform and participate in these wars as well. But really, the specific point in getting the Eldian children out is because you want them to inherit the Titan powers young. So you want them to train and to prove themselves. You want to give them one of the nine, and then you want to send them out to die. That's how Marley does it. And Eldians are the Marley and Eldians are like, oh hell yeah, that sounds great for honor, for family, for Marley, to reconcile our past. So the Eldians are all about it. Now I told you Marley's advanced. They got airships, all the guns that they got. I mean, just incredible weaponry. Now here's how we're gonna approach it. First, we're about to talk about mother trucking Gabi, and I kind of integrate her into the story as we kind of go through. So Erin goes to Marley. Erin talks to this kid named Falco, a little blonde-haired kid, and Falco and Gabi are in the same unit or something like that. But whatever, they train together and they're both fighting hard to become one of the nine. But remember, Titans have a lifespan, so there isn't always nine Titans available. Sometimes there's only one Titan available, and that happens when someone's lifespan is about over. So as you can imagine, maybe two Titans need to be passed on at the same time, maybe four, maybe three, and then sometimes there's just going to be one because that's how people's ages work. But what can mess up that cycle is when you lose a large Titan to a mindless Titan. That's how you can mess up the age cycle, if you get what I'm saying there. Falco is a young, promising, really kind kid, and he doesn't want Gabi to go off to war. He doesn't want her to suffer. He doesn't want her to go through what he sees all his other fellow Eldians doing. His goal is that Gabi lives a better life, and Gabi is your Mary Sue. She is your strong, independent woman, and my lord, man, she's the shit. She's it, dude. And this girl is top of her class. She's very intelligent. She's very strong. And most of you are gonna say, well, what's wrong with you then? Why are you just anti-feminist? Are you just a woman hater? You gonna find out. So just hold on. You gonna find out. So this Gabi little bitch. Anyways, so Falco and her are in the same unit, and Falco is actually related to Reiner, and Reiner takes very good care of Gabi and Falco. It turns kind of out that the Eldians try to take care of each other because, well, they're kind of aware that they're being oppressed, and they're all for it. They're like, oppress me harder, daddy, or some crazy shit like that. Man, these people, I just can't take it. These people just annoy the hell out of me, man. But these people love to be oppressed. They love it harder. And yeah, so Falco kind of befriends Erin, and he has no idea who Erin is. Erin starts talking to him. Erin starts telling him stories. Erin almost seems human and kind and genuine. You're kind of like, oh, wow, man, that's so sweet that Erin is such an elderly brother kind of mass killer. Well, Erin uses this kid, and Erin might have deep down cared about this kid, but he uses this kid, and he uses this kid to get to Reiner. Now, on the way is the other Eldians, because Erin has taken the Founding Titan and the Attack Titan, the only two Titans. Oh, they got three now. That's right. Armin became a Colossal Titan in our last episode. Okay. So Erin took the Founding Titan and the Attack Titan to Marley without permission from Levi and Hanji. Hanji is now the commander I haven't talked much about Hanji, but she's been a character from the beginning. She has survived all of this stuff, and she's the main scientist in Eldia. And so during this time, kind of in this little period, Hanji has made these new kind of weaponries. And I forgot what they're called, but they're practically like rockets, like mini rockets that they carry on their arms. It like shoots out here, kind of on your arm. Then you point it and you shoot it. And Sonic something, or I can't remember what it's called. But anyways, you get the point. Think of it like an RPG on your arm, but they can hold two on each arm, I think. So they can hold four at once, and then I think in their backpacks they carry more. But these suckers are explosives. They're incredibly effective, and Hanji is the reason that they're able to do it. And Hanji was picked to be the next commander after Erwin's death, when Armin was given the Colossal Titan instead of Erwin. Back to Marley. On the way to Marley is the Eldians, Hanji, Levi, Flock, I think, who maybe you'll love, maybe you'll hate. Most people hated him, but Flock, uh, our potato girl, I think her name was Tasha. She's headed there. So all our main Jean, all our favorite people that we've been watching throughout the last 3 seasons, they're all headed to Marley to save Erin, because Erin has practically put Paradia at risk by bringing over the founding Titan to the Marlians, because, well, they're not 100% sure just how much damage the Marlians could do if they had the founding Titan. They're probably thinking, what if they found a way to get rid of the renunciation of war? What if they found a way to do the rumbling, but instead it just rumbles Paradia and they just kill all of us? Which are reasonable thoughts, because Marlians kind of just, slaughter them by the hundreds. So, and then oppress them when they live amongst them, and they call them devils. So these are reasonable thoughts that the Eldians are having. So they get in their airship. I don't know how they got their airship. Maybe it was an airship. I'm not sure how they got there. But anyways, I think it's an airship. Yes, it has to be. They get in their airship, they head over to Marley because they need to save Erin's ass. Now, Erin is talking to Falco. He's using this kid. Erin ends up using this kid to get to Reiner. Now, Gabi is a part of this too. Gabi, I can't remember if she really meets Erin when she doesn't realize who he is, but Gabi is a super important person to Falco and a super important person to Reiner. She's an incredible soldier, and she's next in line to inherit a Titan power. She's excited for it. She's all for it. She is a kid that they say is similar to Erin. She's very strong-willed. She's very ambitious. She wants these victories. She wants to succeed. She wants honor for her family, and she wants to defeat the devils that are Eldians, like her, but different, because she's a good Marleyan. So that's her ambitions. That's her goals. They kind of give her like big brown eyes, so she just looks crazy like this. Every time she's staring at you, she just looks freaking crazy, like she's about to do something. And she is, because she's the Mary Sue of the story. So she's always about to do something with her biggest ass. She's like, I got my 50 cal. Bro, I hate this bitch. But anyhow, so remember, Gabi isn't just anybody. She is actually becomes an important person, important character. But anyway, they like to say she's like Erin because she's all about killing. She's all about winning. And she has a strong will like Erin, and she's always talking about fighting. Fight to win. Fight for victory. That's what she's about. So that's why they say that she's like Erin, is because she likes to kill just like Erin. And she believes the people across the ocean are evil just like Erin did, and they're all going to die, well, just like Erin did. Okay, there's a huge difference between these two. I mean, it's so painstakingly obvious, self-evident what the difference is, and I'm going to go through this with you. I don't want you to leave here confused, being a little moron, thinking that Gabi and Erin are the same people. Please don't ever do that. Yeah, don't do that. Oh my. Okay. So Aaron gets to Falco. Falco gets Reiner and tells him he met this guy. This guy's really cool. He has something he wants to tell you. Aaron is in an underground area, and he's being able to just turn into the armored titan, and it puts Falco's life at risk. But where they are is also under like an amphitheater, and they have a whole bunch of people who are sitting and enjoying a show above them. So if Reiner was to turn into the Colossal Titan, which is a bit bigger than the Attack Titan, well, he's going to kill a ton of people, and he's going to kill Falco, who he really cares about, and he doesn't want Falco to die at all. Reiner comes down to see Eren in this place. Reiner, at first, is just kind of like, whoa, who is. And then Reiner realizes that Eren is sitting right there, right before him. At this point, Eren's leg is all healed up. Wait, how did Falco not notice that? Because I'm pretty sure when Falco met him, his leg was half. But anyways, Falco's kind of stupid anyway, so this makes sense, okay? Reiner goes down there, and Reiner starts talking to Eren. He's obviously super afraid. He knows that he can't just turn into a Titan, and so he's got to come up with a plan to be able to save Falco's life and be able to get out of there. And anyways, Eren talks to Reiner, and Eren says the truest stuff. Eren reminds Reiner what he did in Paradia. And he even tells Reiner, I understand why you did what you did. I'm about to do the same. So I get it. I get the position that you were in. So now you have to understand what position I'm in. And of course, Reiner like a little bitch. Reiner goes, no, you can't do this, please. You gotta leave Falco out of this. Okay, well, how many children, how many women, and how many men did Reiner cry about when he killed hundreds? How many? I don't remember Reiner attempting to stop this. I don't remember Reiner saying, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to participate in this. I don't kill children. I don't kill women. I don't remember Reiner being like that. I don't remember Reiner going, I've killed too many. I've already killed 200. I'm done. I don't remember that being a problem for him. See, that's the thing about weak people. That's the thing about these cowards. Nothing is a problem. Everything is okay as long as they're the top dog. As long as you're winning in the war and the people you love are protected, whatever happens to your enemy doesn't matter. What matters, when morals come in, when we got to talk about morals and we got to talk about the lives lost, it's when you're losing. It's when the enemy has the upper hand, and it's time for you to watch your mom die. It's time for you to watch your friends die. And it's time for your area, your living space to be ravaged. All of a sudden, morals matter. All of a sudden, you're going to beg and you're going to beg, right? But what man wouldn't beg for the life of the people that he loves when he's facing their imminent death? What man wouldn't beg? Very few men would not beg. I would beg. But here's the difference. You don't have to be like that. Here's the difference. You have the capability. Everyone has this capability. We are actually able to think ahead. We are actually able to reason these things out before it comes to our family members and the ones that we love get mass slaughtered. We're able to seek peace. We're able to seek justice before this happens. It doesn't mean that you still won't be begging for your life, because not every culture or every people are moral. They may still come and murder your family, and you may still have to beg for your life. But that is the only way that you can be in the better moral positioning, if that's what you're wanting to be in. You cannot cry immorality when you yourself were never moral to begin with. You cannot have a moral high ground when you stand on top of hundreds of corpses. You do not have the moral high ground. And guess what? Just because your enemy is more powerful and more successful than you at war, just because your enemy stands on 20,000 corpses instead of your 500 corpses, doesn't mean that they're more immoral than you. It means they're stronger than you. It means you effed up. It means you're freaking weak. It means you messed with the wrong people and now you're going to face the consequences. That's what that means. That's reality. That's real war. Now, and Erin and Reiner, start talking. So above Erin and Reiner, while they're talking, is this show going on. And during the show, this man reads the history of Eldia, and he reads the true history of Eldia and the Marlians. And this is the first time, because the Marlians have actually had their memories wiped too, but they were able to gain this knowledge because of the Marlians. So the Marlian Eldians lost their memories because all Eldians lost their memories. But Marley was able to give them the knowledge that no one else gave the people in Paradia. I know I've read you history quite a bit, but it's so important to understand some of this history. You have to understand some of this history to really understand what these people are coming from, where this hurt comes from. So I'm going to go ahead and read you some more history before we continue. Ancient Eldian Empire and Marley's suffering. Marleyan history as taught to Eldians in the internment zones like Liberio depicted the ancient Eldians empire as a brutal force that used the power of the Titans to conquer and oppress other nations, including Marley. The Eldians were portrayed as devils for these historical atrocities and were blamed for the widespread suffering caused by Titan warfare. That's what the Eldians and Marley were taught by the Marleyans. Ymir Fritz and the Devil of All Earth. According to Marleyan propaganda, the founder of the Eldian Empire, Ymir Fritz, gained her power through a deal with the Devil of All Earth, further solidifying the image of Eldians as demonic beings. The Great Titan War and Marley's rise. Marleyan history celebrated the Great Titan War as a period where the Marleyans, with the help of a legendary hero named Helos, and the betrayal of certain Eldian houses like the Tibers, rose up to overthrow the Eldian Empire. This narrative portrayed Marley as the liberator of the world from Eldian tyranny. King Karl Fritz's role. The true history, however, revealed that King Karl Fritz, the 145th Eldian king, was actually instrumental in orchestrating the Eldian Empire's downfall. He conspired with the Tiber family to end the endless wars and create a peaceful world as detailed on Slash Film. He moved a large number of Eldians to Paradia Island, building the wall to protect them and ensure peace, while also imposing a vow renouncing war on the founding Titan holders. The Marleyan government and continued oppression. Despite Karl Fritz's intentions, Marley continued to demonize Eldians, forcing them into internment zones and utilizing the power of Titans possessed by the Eldian warrior unit to further their own expansionist ambitions. This cycle of oppression and hatred fueled the desire for revenge among many Eldians, including Grisha. So now you have another snippet of history. So as you can imagine, that's what these Marleyans have been brainwashed to think. That's why they have so much hate in their heart. They have been brainwashed. Now I'm about to talk about something really difficult for people to understand. A lot of people really miss this. A lot of people are going to say that because you've been somewhat brainwashed, because you've been told a lie your entire life, it excuses you from the lives that you end up taking. It excuses you from the murders, and it excuses you from, if you're doing genocide, from the genocide that you commit because you were brainwashed. Now, there's different kinds of brainwashed. If you watch Captain America, the Winter Soldier. The Winter Soldier, the Winter Soldier is that kind of brainwashed where you can understand excusing him from a murder because he's not himself. He was brainwashed to the point where he becomes somebody else. And he's not just brainwashed through history or words. No, no, no. This guy has gone through all kinds of torture therapy, I don't know, some weird shock therapy, all kinds of weird psychological things to get him brainwashed to this point. So we can understand excusing him from some murders because it literally wasn't himself. That's what hell that guy had actually gone through. So we can understand his point. And I can understand excusing him. Some people might not. Some people might still make him take accountability because even though he wasn't himself, well, he's still the person that did it. You see what I'm saying? Oh, even though two personalities can exist, only one person can exist. Okay? So, the Winter Soldier still did it. Some people might still want to hold him accountable. Some people might still want to give him the death penalty. And that's something worth debating about in a moral society. It makes sense. Okay, so that's something we might want to talk about. Now, on the other hand, what you have is you have this group of people called the Marlians. And these Marlians have not been brainwashed in that kind of manner. They haven't gone through some crazy like shock therapy. They don't have the psychological I don't know, the knowledge of, they don't have expanded knowledge of psychology to the point where they can brainwash the Marlians to become someone else. No, there isn't a split personality really going on, except for, well, Reiner. Some people are going to say that Reiner kind of has like a split personality, and you get to see that in the season 2 because Reiner literally starts to think that he's an Eldian. But that just probably means he has bad mental health or PTSD. I don't know. Anyway, so the Marlians here are not splitting into a different personality to do what they're doing. They're not becoming someone different. They are themselves. This is what they want to do. The Marlians within the Eldians within Marley have had opportunities to rise up against the oppression, to leave, and to lead better lives for their children. But because of Zeke Yeager and many other Eldians who think that they deserve what they're getting, they snitched on them and then helped the other Eldians get caught and turned into mindless titans. So I am going to argue here that we need to hold these Marlians that are Eldian accountable for what they did. Even if they don't understand history, they still know what human beings are. They can still have some moral reasoning. If it is within your mind that because those people are not Eldians of Marley, that they are devils and they are less moral than us, that should allow us to kill as many of them as we need to rectify our past. We'll kill children. We'll kill women. We'll kill masses of men. And that is how we will sanctify ourselves. That's how we're going to erase our past so the people of today do not think that we are devils. And while we're doing this, understand that those Eldians over in Peridea, they deserve it. They deserve it. And we are going to be the ones that sanctify our people by getting rid of our other people. Are you starting to see what's going on here? Are you starting to see what's going on here? It is the case that even if you don't have the proper knowledge of history, even if that's the case, you still have a choice as a human being. Knowledge of history is a great thing. Just because I have knowledge of history does not mean that I need to go killing a bunch of people. It doesn't give me the right, and it doesn't give me a moral high ground. You can have different morals, different values, and a different character despite history. Despite history. And we've seen it. We've absolutely seen it. So we're not going to excuse these Marlians from the atrocities that they have committed against Paradia because they have bad history. We don't excuse people who kill and murder on the behalf of their grandfathers and their great grandfathers. They still had a choice. Even if history is looking a little grim, even if it's the case that these people might have been devils. But have you ever asked yourself, did you ever think, well, are they devils today? Have they possibly changed? Are they? Are they devils today? What happens if I go and I seek peace? What would happen? What happens if I send someone out there to have talks with these people? Why don't we do that first? After all, they're human beings. Maybe they want to sanctify themselves. Maybe they want to rectify their past. Maybe we should give the people in Paradia that opportunity as the good Marlians that we are. Are you starting to see here? These Marlian people aren't moral. They're not standing on some kind of moral high ground because they're fighting on the behalf of their fathers and great grandfathers. And they're not going to be excused because they have the wrong knowledge of history. That's not going to be an excuse that we're going to allow. You have the ability to seek peace today, no matter who or what your great grandfather did. You have the ability to be someone completely different. You today can choose the morals that you have, the life that you live. You can do that. Don't get caught up in what might have happened 50, 100 years ago. Let it go. Let it go. What's happening to you today? Think about it. What's your life like today? Don't you want to have a family? Don't you want to find love? Do you really want to spend the 75 years that you have on this earth killing hundreds of people? Why don't you seek peace first? I'm not saying to shy away from war or be the kind of people who don't want to fight. War is war. Sometimes you gotta fight, and you need to be good at it. You need to have the will for it. You need to be brave. That's totally understandable. But why not seek peace first? Why not seek peace first? Especially if you know that you're the kind of coward that's going to claim moral high ground later because your enemy, your rival, is a more powerful force than you. If you're that kind of coward, you deserve death. I'm going to say it right now. You deserve death. You don't deserve to live. If you are in a position of power, even if you have bad history, and you fight on the behalf of your grandfather and great grandfather, if that is your intentions and your goals, if you slaughter people knowing what humans are, you're aware of what humans are, you're aware that they're human. If you slaughter people aware of what humans are, what values that humans hold, and you continue on your little slaughter parade, you deserve death. That's what you deserve. And you're such a freaking coward that when death finally comes to your door, You're going to cry. You're going to throw a fit. You're gonna call up other nations. You're gonna call up your little buddies and see what can happen. Hey, I'm a freaking coward. I started a war with a superior force. I didn't agree to peace agreements that possibly were, I don't know, offered to me in the past. But now my people are dying. My people are suffering. I've risked the lives of my civilians on the behalf of my great grandfathers. I've risked the lives of my children on the behalf of an inferior culture, and I need to be bailed out. Where are you at? Where are you at? You deserve death. You do. You don't deserve to live. If you are in an inferior culture and you're contributing to that inferior culture, you deserve death. That's it. That's it. You have a responsibility to rebel against tyranny and oppression. You have a responsibility to save the lives of humans that aren't in your culture. You have that responsibility. You do. But first, you have the responsibility to your own civilians. Okay? So depending on the safety of your civilians, you decide whether you're going out to war or whether you're going to seek peace. Depending on what might happen to the civilians within your given country. And if you have an inferior culture and you live in one, you must abandon it. If the morals and the values that you propagate today have not worked for the last 1,000 years, then you have an inferior culture and you need to abandon it. And that is every individual's responsibility within that culture to rebel against that inferior culture. We know what happens with inferior cultures. We know that it is the children that suffer in inferior cultures. But people are so obsessed with living with certain rituals, with living certain lifestyles that are different within religious groups, whatever you want to call it. People are so obsessed with that. People are obsessed with being around people like them, who think like them, with similar values to them. And I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't seem like it's a beneficial thing. It doesn't. There needs to be different values that people are propagating. There needs to be a tug of war with morals and values as we reason out what's the better way of life. And there needs to be rebellious, strong-willed people in a society who are willing to call out evil and say that something is wrong. Now you're going to say, oh, you don't even believe in objective morality. So how can you say that something is evil or wrong? My friend, we are going to act as if God exists. Therefore, we're going to act as if there is some kind of objective morality. We're going to act as if, even though we are aware that it actually doesn't exist. Okay? I really want you to really understand this, and I want you to comment on this. Tell me your thoughts. I just would like for us to be of one mind on this. I think this is such an obvious point. If you live within a culture that is tyrannical and you have a government that is oppressive, it is the individual's responsibility of an oppressive government to rebel. It is the individual's responsibilities within an inferior culture to rebel. And they need to do it for the sake of their children. The life of my child, the lives of the children in my country are not Hungary's responsibility. They're not China's responsibility. They are my responsibility. So it's important that from day to day, I consider the kind of life I live today. And I consider the kind of conflicts that I involve myself in. And it's important that I vote for leaders who consider the kind of conflicts that America as a country involves itself in. It would be my responsibility as an individual within this culture to say something if thousands of humans were dying and I thought it was wrong. And it's happening right now. It's happening right now. And I think it's wrong. But that's a whole nother story. Individuals in oppressive countries with little are not excused. They are not excused from putting their life on the line on behalf of their children. They are not excused from rebelling against a tyrannical, oppressive government. And they are certainly not excused if they voted that tyrannical power in the first place. If you voted that power in, and they're tyrannical and they're oppressive towards you, and your children suffer and your children die because of the group that you voted in, then that's what you freaking deserve. Not your children, but the voting age people, that's what they deserve. Is oppression and death. I've gotten myself riled up here today. I'm not gonna lie. And I ain't even done. I ain't done. But I'm gonna end it here today. And I want you guys to really think about this. I want you guys to comment down. I want to know where you're coming from. I want to hear your thoughts about this. Is it the responsibility of Poland to secure the future of the Ukrainian children, or is it the responsibility of the Ukrainian people? Stuff like that. Think about that. Is each nation responsible for the lives of its children and responsible for the culture that it's created? Or is it the responsibility of another nation for the culture that a said nation has created, and so on? It's been great, as always. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I wanted it to be heavy. That's what we want here. We want to be thinking. I want you to start thinking for yourself. Stop just listening to these freaking cowards out here. Oh, damn it, I'm a coward too. Okay. Well, don't listen to people who are cowards who don't think they're cowards. That's what I mean. Stop being a freaking sheep. Man, aren't you tired of being a freaking sheep? Stop supporting weak cultures. You're not responsible for the lives of children in other countries. Even if there's something that you want to do about it, their deaths aren't on you. They're not. Unless you think that the death of hundreds or thousands of Japanese are on you at this moment, then the deaths of whoever, wherever we might be warring with is not your responsibility. Unless you have a corrupt government. And if you do have a corrupt government, then it is your responsibility. And if you do nothing, well, then you have no moral high ground, and you just might deserve death. Rebellions exist for a reason. We rebel according to what we think is right, as we should, for the sake of our children, for the sake of the culture in which we propagate. It is important that we stand firm and we stand against a rebellious government. A corrupt government. Have a great day. Thanks for coming. Think on these things. If you like this content, click the subscribe button. It's always fun being with you guys and doing this.